Hello, my fellow Americans, family, friends, brothers, and sisters. This is Greg Ward from Common Law Rights Society. Before we jump in, a quick word from our sponsors and a reminder that nothing you hear today is legal advice. This episode is brought to you by gptlegal.org. GPT Legal is your always-on legal research and drafting companion. Built to help solo practitioners, small firms, and serious pro-se researchers move faster with more clarity, create first draft motions, briefs, and letters, generate trust and entity documents, summarize discovery, and spot issues across long PDFs, all inside a clean, private workspace with OTP email verification and export-ready formats. Think of it as a tireless paralegal with a citation habit and a great memory. If you're building a case or building your legal knowledge, GPT Legal helps you get there quicker and with confidence. We're also sponsored by Canatrack at canatrack.solutions, the trust layer for cannabis and hemp. Canatrack gives growers, labs, manufacturers, and retailers a shared source of truth. QR verifiable certificates of analysis on-chain, private key attestations from each stakeholder, batch-level traceability, recall tooling, and label and COA links that consumers can actually understand. From seed and genetics through manufacturing and retail, Canatrack proves product integrity while protecting private identities, auditable when required, private by default. In a world arguing regulate versus ban, Canatrack is proof that proof wins. And now the disclaimer, this podcast is for education and general information only. It is not legal advice. Laws change, facts matter, and your situation is unique. Talk to a qualified attorney before acting on anything discussed here. Today, I want to talk about freedom, real, practical, everyday American freedom, and why a quiet move in Congress threatens to take a big chunk of it away. You've probably heard the noise about shutdowns, delayed paychecks, snap disruptions, flights getting canceled. While all that drama grabbed the headlines, a tiny clause got slipped into the deal-making that would redefine hemp under federal law and effectively ban most hemp and many cannabis-adjacent products in one swoop. I'm talking full-spectrum CBD that millions use for relief, hemp-derived cannabinoids, and, believe it or not, even seeds and genetics that have been legally traded since the 2018 Farm Bill. That's not tightening a loophole. That's pulling the rug out from farmers, small businesses, patients, builders, and anyone who believes we should be free to grow a plant that helped build this country. Let's step back and get our bearings. In 2018, Congress made a simple, clear choice. Hemp is legal so long as it's at or below 0.3% THC by dry weight. That framework created a regulated market for farming and processing. It didn't magically fix everything. Bad actors exist in any industry, but it gave honest people a pathway to plant, test, label, and sell. Thousands of farms invested. Labs spun up, retailers opened. Communities built honest livelihoods. Consumers learned about the endocannabinoid system, and many found relief for stress, sleep, inflammation, and more without getting intoxicated. Now, instead of smart regulation, age limits, testing that actually catches contaminants, child-safe packaging, serving size standards, this new federal push says, ban first, ask questions later. It would set an ultra-low cap on total THC per container for finished products and exclude viable seeds if the genetics could ever climb above 0.3%. Think about that. Not whether a bottle gets someone high, not whether it's labeled or tested, not whether it's sold to adults. A flat cap so tiny it wipes out most full-spectrum CBD, and new seed rules that could criminalize breeding programs and restart a black market for genetics overnight. That doesn't protect families. It punishes them, especially the ones who've built legitimate businesses and the ones who rely on non-intoxicating products for quality of life. And let's be honest about the science for a second. The endocannabinoid system, the ECS, isn't some fringe idea. It's a core part of human physiology, helping to regulate mood, pain, appetite, immune response, and homeostasis. That's why people talk about full spectrum hemp. Trace amounts of THC can support the broader plant chemistry, the entourage effect, without intoxication. There's hopeful research out there on cannabinoids and cancer biology, and there's stronger evidence for symptom relief, nausea, appetite, pain, sleep disturbance, especially in supportive care. The right way forward is to keep investing in research, keep products clean and labeled, and keep them out of kids' hands, not to erase the entire category. Now let's talk about the old school American story nobody in DC seems to remember when it's inconvenient. During World War II, the U.S. literally told farmers, grow hemp, hemp for victory. We needed rope, canvas, oil, fiber. That plant helped win a war. And today, hempcrete locks up carbon and builds breathable, mold-resistant walls. Hemp fiber replaces plastics and toxic textiles. Hemp oil feeds people and can be pressed into fuel. Rotations with hemp improve soil, and the crop grows like a weed without the heavy chemical cocktail some other commodities demand. In a world obsessed with decarbonization and resilient supply chains, we have a domestic crop that does both, and the big brainwave from Washington is, ban it? Let's talk economics. This isn't just about tinctures and gummies at the register. It's a whole ecosystem. Seed breeders, nurseries, greenhouse techs, field farmers, combine operators, extractors, formulators, testing labs, bottle and label manufacturers, distributors, retailers, builders using hempcrete, even the HVAC companies that kit out drying facilities. Every time you take away a lawful regulated market and force people back into prohibition mode, you don't protect consumers. You remove accountability, you kill tax revenue, and you hand the space back to the least scrupulous players. If Congress is worried about kids and contaminants, then write rules that actually address kids and contaminants. Set age gates. Require QR-coded KOAs tied to batch numbers. Enforce serving sizes and child-resistant packaging. Pull products that break the rules. Don't criminalize farmers who followed the rules you wrote. And while we're here, let's address the elephant in the room. Money. Who benefits if hemp and non-intoxicating cannabinoids get kneecapped? Not the independent health stores, not the family farmers, not the new carbon-negative building startups. It's the same entrenched interests who profit when your choices shrink. Cheap sugar alcohols in your wellness drink instead of botanicals, another prescription with a side effect chain instead of a plant-based option, another plastic textile instead of a fiber that returns to the earth. That's not conspiracy, that's market share. Here's the heart of it. This is a freedom issue. Can Americans grow a plant on their land, sell honest products to other adults, and build better materials for their homes without a federal sledgehammer coming down because someone somewhere might abuse the rules? If the answer is no, then let's at least be brave enough to say out loud that we don't trust adults and we don't trust small business. But if the answer is yes, and I believe it is, then our laws should reflect regulation with teeth, not bans with loopholes for whoever can afford the lobbyists. So what do? We become impossible to ignore. If you're a farmer, a retailer, a builder, or a consumer who cares about this, tell your story. Have you replaced sleeping pills with CBD? Say that. Did hempcrete cut your energy bill or the mold in your basement? Say that. Are you a veteran who uses cannabinoids for pain and still wants a clear head? Say that. If you breed seeds and your state ag department inspects your fields like clockwork, tell your representative what this new definition does to your life. Call your House member. Call both of your senators. Be calm, be concise, be relentless. Tell them you support a regulate, not ban approach. Tell them you want age restrictions, batch testing, standardized labels, QR-coded lab results, child-safe packaging, serving limits, and real penalties for bad actors. Tell them you want full-spectrum CBD to remain legal, because trace THC is not intoxication, it's chemistry. Tell them seeds and genetics are the backbone of American agriculture, and excluding viable seeds because they could exceed 0.3% in a hypothetical plant is anti-science and anti-farmer. Tell them hempcrete is carbon-smart construction, and we should be scaling it, not sabotaging it. Remind them that the 2018 framework created jobs and tax revenue, and that smart regulation will do more for child safety than prohibition ever did. If you run a shop, put a one-page handout by the register explaining the issue in plain language and giving folks exactly what to say when they call. If you're a contractor, put hempcrete facts on your website and list your local representative's phone number right next to your project photos. If you're an educator or clinician, publish a simple overview of the endocannabinoid system and what responsible, non-intoxicating use looks like. If you're a patient, record a 2-minute video about how these products changed your life and send it to your member of Congress. Real people, real stories, move votes. And let's remember our tone. We win with facts, with empathy, and with credibility. Don't overclaim. Don't promise miracle cures. Talk about what's supported today and what needs more research tomorrow. Talk about contaminants you want out of the market and the labeling you expect to see. Prohibitionists love to paint hemp as a Wild West. So be the opposite. Be the adults in the room asking for guardrails that work. There's a phrase I keep coming back to: hemp for victory. It wasn't just a wartime slogan. It was a recognition that this plant serves the common good when we let it today. Victory looks different. It's the small town that keeps its family farm. It's the builder who locks up carbon in walls instead of pouring it into the sky. It's the grandmother who sleeps through the night without grogginess the next morning. It's the veteran with one fewer pill bottle on the nightstand. It's a science class where kids learn about the ECS the same way they learn about the cardiovascular system, because both are basic biology. We have a choice right now. We can let a quiet line in a noisy bill set us back decades, or we can speak up loud enough and long enough to force Congress to do the grown-up thing, regulate what needs regulating, protect kids, punish bad actors, and leave honest Americans free to grow, build, heal, and innovate with a plant that has served us since the founding. If you believe in that kind of freedom, make your voice heard today. Pick up the phone. Tell your story. Ask your neighbors to do the same. Post the facts. Share the science. And remind anyone who will listen, this isn't about getting high. It's about getting it right. Hemp for victory, again.
Everything seem upside down. Yeah. Everything seem upside down. Yeah, yeah. Everything seem upside down. The world try to fit square in a round. Them tell you them a smile but a frown come round. Everything seem upside down. But Jah is steady, no confusion. The world try convince we are them illusion. Me sight it clear through spiritual fusion. Everything seems